let's talk competition. In 1989, Sega's Genesis console hit American shelves with the intention of competing with the Nintendo Entertainment System. It did not compete with that for long because in 1990 the SNES came out, so Sega had to basically be like, okay, we need a product that is bold, loud, and can entice people to buy our console over that their newfangled Mario thing. So, in 1991, Sega released Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic's whole personality was based off of that American cocky attitude. Whoa, he's so edgy. Um, factually, he is one of the most beloved video game characters of all time, and for good reason. I too do enjoy me some good Sonic the Hedgehog. Just not the games. I've never been the I've never been the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I like some of his games, but not all of them. This is one of those in the latter category. So this game was basically their ticket to competing with Super Mario World. And I'll I'll state my biggest issue with it, but let's go over the story first. So, the story of the game is that Dr. Ivan Robotnik wants to capture and harness the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds across whatever the main island you're on. Sky Island, Green Hill. What is the name of the island? Hold on. South Island. Okay. Um, so he wants to harness the power of the Chaos Emeralds to basically rule the world or whatever he wants to do. Ivo Robotnik. I forget his name is not Ivan. Anyway, and at the same time, he's also an asshole, so he stuffs all the little animals and flickies and critters into aggressive little robot things called badniks. And of course, Sonic, being the hero that he is, obviously we can't let that slide. So off we go to Best Robotnik at his evil game. So yeah, this was before they started calling him Eggman. I think that started in Adventure. But anyway, so the plot's simple. The plot's pretty straightforward. It's your classic platform, like, oh no, bad guy doing bad thing, go stop bad guy from doing bad thing. But the whole selling point behind Sonic was speed. Gotta go fast. That was the whole shtick behind Sonic. And I am not going to sit here and say that it was a bad idea. Because when it works amazing. It's fun to build up speed. It's fun to fly through stages. All of that is fun. Notice how I said when it works. Because here's the issue. This game is also a platformer. And while you can have speed in a platformer, obviously, you really got to make sure the level design is designed around it. So, I'm just going to take, there are 6 zones in the game. I'm going to take each zone and dissect what I like and don't like about each one. Starting with Green Hill Zone. And I'll say this. This is probably the best part of the game. Green Hill Zone, I know everybody nowadays is sick and tired of seeing it, but this is probably one of the best Sonic stages. It's straightforward. It tells you it eases you into the game. There's plenty of segments to build speed, keep speed. There's loop to loops. There's spiraling spike bridges. There's platforms that swing. It's a very fair and not easy, but like smoothly transitioning you into the gameplay. I love Green Hill Zone. It's probably one of the best first levels in any video game ever. Of course, then we get to Marble Zone. And I'll say this. I love the aesthetic of Marble Zone, not Marvel Zone. Um it's the whole like ancient Greek temple style, which I do really like. It's just here's the one issue. Again, remember this game is focused on speed. Well, Marvel Zone kills that entire idea immediately because there are multiple segments in this stage set that you just have to wait. You have to wait as you float across blocks over lava. You have to wait as spiked ceilings drop and raise so you can time your jumps to climb up them. There's another thing you have to wait for as well, but I can't remember what it is. Probably something also to do with fire. But there's really not anywhere to build up speed. It's just navigating through a temple and waiting a bunch, which isn't it's not the worst thing in the world to play. Like I don't have an issue with Marble Zone as a stage overall. It's just I was advertised speed. I am no longer receiving as advertised. The third zone is called Spring Yard Zone. And this is the first zone that's like legitimately just flat out boring. So, as you can guess, Spring Yard Zone is full of springs and bouncy pads and bumpers and stuff like that. And the idea isn't necessarily a bad one. It's just, oh my gosh, there is again no. Okay, there's room to build up speed in this one, but you don't really want speed because there's spike balls everywhere. Like spike balls that move back and forth that if you're moving too fast, you will run into. So it's like a double-edged sword. Do you want to go fast and do you not want to go fast? Now, I will say, I know there's going to be the whole argument of like, "Oh, the whole point of the speed is once you've gone through the stages and you know the stuff is there, you can just get through it as quickly as possible." And that's the whole point of the speed. And yes, that's fun. I do think that is a good time. But for your first couple of playthroughs, you're not going to see that stuff there. And keep in mind, this is before like uh I'm blanking on the words, or save files. This is before save files. So if you game over, you're SOL, buddy. You are going back to the beginning of the game. So yeah, just like having things that will kill you that you can't see coming because you're going so fast. It's not exactly in the player's interest. And yes, again, for the record, I get it. It's not the longest game in the world, especially considering you go fast. You can maybe beat the game in an hour, 2 hours. So it's like, oh, it's got to be hard. But I don't know. In this modern day and age, I don't have the time nor the patience to play through a game like this dozens of times to get good. I don't know. Spring Yard Zone's biggest issue is just flat out, it's boring. Everything's like brown and greenish, grayish color. It's boring. I don't know. But I would take Spring Yard Zone any day over the absolute hell that is Labyrinth Zone. What in the what in the fart frick fuck were they thinking? Okay. So Labyrinth Zone is the titular water level of the game. And if there was ever a level that would instill a hatred of water levels in the gaming community, it's this and the Water Temple from Ocarina of Time. First and foremost, if there is a single stage, like zone in this game that kills the speed, it is Labyrinth Zone. You move like a snail in molasses going through the water in Labyrinth Zone. It sucks bad. You're slow. Jumping is weird because of, again, you being slow. You can drown. Oh, and by the way, did I forget to mention that Sega put one of just the most upsetting noises of all time for the drowning alert? It's like that and Baby Mario's crying from the original Yoshi's Island. Arguably the worst sounds in the fourth generation of gaming. They're up there anyway. So yeah, so you're constantly looking for air bubbles, and then of course, just the fact that a lot of these areas just don't, a lot of these like stretches, maybe I'm an idiot and just couldn't find them. I could not find a lot of rings in some of these stretches in Labyrinth Zone. Hell, I couldn't find a lot of checkpoints in these segments of Labyrinth Zone. Now, granted, I could be an idiot, but fact of the matter is, I couldn't find them. So yeah, bottom line, it's slow, it's cumbersome, and it's just annoying to get through. No, I ask any Sonic fan. I think they will probably tell you Labyrinth Zone is top 5 worst zones in Sonic. The next zone is Starlight Zone. Not Starlight, Star Space Light Zone. And there's really not much to say about this one because it's it, it's just boring. Like flat out, it's just boring. The whole thing with this game, with this stage, is it's just like I don't really even know how to like talk about it. There's bombs that will go off and drop little mini red dots that hurt you in sections of the stage. There's fans that either blow you to the left or right, depending on just how they work. Spinning carousel platforms. There's really not much to talk about. Like it's not an awful stage. It's just it's boring. It has a pretty annoying boss because with so all the bosses in the game are Eggman, except like Labyrinth Zone barely has an Eggman fight, but like all of them are Eggman. Um, so for this one, you don't hit him. There are catapults. So occasionally in the stage you'll find catapults where you will jump on one end, a spike ball will fly up in the air and land on the other end, and it's supposed to launch you upward. You have two options with this fight. Do that, let the spike ball land on one end, launch you upward, and hit him yourself, or launch the spike ball upwards to hit Robotnik Eggman guy. I do the spike ball method of hitting Eggman. I don't think it does not matter in the slightest what way you do it, but that's the way I do it. It's just tedious and annoying because you have to time the shots. You have to make sure he flies over to drop the things. It's. I mean, it's interesting. It's just annoying and dumb, and this entire zone is so friggin' boring. But I would also take boring over hell, so Scrap Brain Zone can die. So Scrap Brain Zone is the final level of the game, the final zone, and I don't mind a challenge, but again, by this point, the entire speed aspect has been tossed out the door, and if it wasn't, it sure as hell is now, because Scrap Brain Zone's entire mindset is, if it can kill you, it's here. Flamethrowers, Tesla coils, buzz saws, spike balls, those bombs from Starlight Zone are back. Oh my gosh, what else is here? Everything. Weird little pink bear doll looking things that drop bombs out of their stomachs. It's weird. It's weird and it's hard. Oh, did I forget to mention that the third act of Scrap Brain Zone is basically round 2 with Labyrinth Zone. It's so it's so much harder than it needs to be. Oh, also, Scrap Brain Zone Act 1, the first thing you are greeted with is red platform doors that will probably open the moment you step on them and drop you into a bottomless pit that kills you immediately. Yeah, the difficulty spikes pretty damn bad here. I don't like it. I think it's tedious and I think it's annoying. Have I said that enough? This game is pretty tedious and annoying at times. And then there's the final boss, which is so unlike any other 2D Sonic final boss. So there are 4 pillars. Okay, picture a flat room. In the room there is a pillar that will crush downward, a pillar that will crush upward, another pillar or another pillar to the right of that will crush downward, and a pillar to the right of that will crush upward. Um how this fight works is either the ones going down crushing down or the ones crushing up will both activate at the same time. Robotnik is one of those two. Hit him about 7 or 8 times when he comes up to kill him. I mean, not kill him, but defeat him. Also, watch out for the purple balls of Tesla energy that will kill you. Oh, did I forget to mention you have 0 rings while you're doing this? I didn't even mention how health works in this game either, which is I don't think I should have to because it's Sonic, but who knows? In 30 years, if some kid that's never played Sonic in his life watches this. So, the way Sonic's health works is there's rings. You collect a bunch of rings. You're basically free for one hit. But if you get hit, you lose all of your rings. You can collect some of them. You will not get all of them. Don't bother trying. But you can collect some of them. Which basically, as long as you have one ring, you're good to go. You have none. You have to do this entire fight without getting hit, which granted, I did it and it's not that hard. However, keep in mind, if you game over, you are back to Green Hill Zone Act 1. So, yeah, no pressure. Now, of course, we can't end this discussion without talking about the thing that Robotnik is after at the end of the day, the Chaos Emeralds. You you can get the Chaos Emeralds in basically every Sonic game, like every mainline Sonic game. The 2D ones are different from the 3D ones in that you can actually collect them normally. And this game does it in a way. It does it in a very interesting way. So, in order to get to the special stage that has the Chaos Emerald in it, you need to finish the stage with 50 rings. And then at the end, when you get to the goal sign, you need to jump into the giant ring at the end. And then you are transported into an LSD fever dream of a level that how how do I describe this? So you don't have control over Sonic. The stage is either turning clockwise or counterclockwise. All you can do is jump. There are glowing circles with an R on them that reverse the direction the stage is turning. Basically, you have to get to this section of the stage and break these gems blocking the Chaos Emerald without falling into the flashing line of balls that says goal. Because if you do, you lose. And you can't get the Chaos Emerald until another try. Now, granted, if you're good at this, you can have all 7 of them by the time you finish Spring Yard Zone Act 1. That's a lie. Hold on, I want to do the math in my head for this. Labyrinth Zone Act 1. Okay, I got it. I did, I, I did math. I think that's correct. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And if you get the ball, you become Super Sonic, which is just Sonic. He's glowy, he's golden, he's shimmering, and he is completely invincible. You have to have 50 rings to activate him, and I believe every second or 2 seconds or something like that he is active, he drains a ring. I think it's every second. So you have to constantly keep getting rings to like fuel his power. And that is a really cool reward. It's just for Sonic 1, brother, getting the Chaos Emeralds is really not worth it, dude. Not with those dog balls special stages. Sonic 2 and 3, Sonic 3, absolutely. But this game, yeah, I would not say so. Now, one thing that I can say, for the most part, Sonic 1 has really good music. I know the Sonic series is so known for having amazing music. I wouldn't say that Sonic 1 has the best music, but it's still a really solid soundtrack, I would say. I like Scrap Brain Zone, I love Green Hill Zone, I like Marble Zone. I can't really remember anything else, but those 3 in particular I do like. Even if Scrap Brain Zone will get on your nerves eventually. So, wait. Alright, yeah, that's right. Alright, so, what would I give this game today, given everything that I've said? I don't know what the Sonic community's opinion on this game still is. I know that a lot of people don't care for it. I know that a lot of people do like it. This is what I will say, though. It is a 5 out of 10. Green Hill Zone is fantastic, and I do enjoy Marble Zone to a degree, but everything else is slow, boring, tedious, or just outright bad. This game genuinely feels like Sega being like, okay, let's try this and see if it works. And granted, it did, because the idea isn't bad. And when they made Sonic the Hedgehog 2 like a year later, they fixed like 90% of the issues with this game. But for this game in particular, yeah, 5 out of 10. Just skip to Sonic 2, play Green Hill Zone, maybe play through Marble Zone, and just skip to Sonic 2. You are not missing anything. So, yeah, 5 out of 10, very whatever. That's about all I got to say. Have a good day.